It is my absolute honor to introduce our next speaker. I'm Dr. Jeff Duchin. He is the health officer at Public Health Seattle and King County and the former chief of communicable disease epidemiology. And he's also the professor of infectious disease at UW Medicine. And Dr. Duchin serves on the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's Board of Scientific Counselors and the Board of Directors for the Infectious Disease Society of America. So we're very honored that Dr. Duchin will be talking to us today about the impact of climate change on health. And we are, again, very honored that he's talking to us because it's a very important topic and very relevant to the current day. Thank you so much, Dr. Duchin.
Thank you so much for the invitation, Mayor. And I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you as participants in the 2023 Youth Global Health and Innovation Conference. As many of you know, healthcare, environmental health, and public health organizations recognize climate change as a health emergency. The World Health Organization states that climate change is the single biggest health threat facing humanity. And they estimate that between 2030 and 2050, climate change is expected to cause approximately 250,000 additional deaths per year from malnutrition, malaria, diarrhea, and heat stress. Now, climate change causes extreme weather events and other long-term consequences that lead to serious effects on human health, as well as environmental and social effects that are already impacting communities across Washington, across the US, and around the world. Locally, we expect to see increasing extreme heat events, rising sea levels, declining snowpack, ocean acidification, more frequent flooding, among other impacts. It's critical to note that climate change exacerbates health inequities, disproportionately harming the most vulnerable among us, children and pregnant women, the elderly, and people with disabilities and chronic illnesses, people with low income, some communities of color, indigenous people and tribal communities, immigrants, marginalized people of all races and ethnicities, and outdoor workers. At Public Health Seattle and King County, our climate team is focusing on climate equity and building sustainable and resilient frontline communities with the goal of recognizing and addressing the unequal burdens made worse by climate change, while ensuring that all people share the benefits of climate protection efforts. Now, frontline communities are those that have experienced systemic neglect and environmental racism and have the least responsibility for climate pollution, but are often the most affected. These communities have less access to political, economic, social, and environmental resources that enable them to cope with climate threats. You can learn more about our work at Public Health Seattle and King County overall by searching for the King County Climate Action Plan and our Public Health Blueprint for addressing climate change and health. Now, increasing carbon dioxide, rising temperatures and sea levels, and extreme weather events cause environmental changes that result in a wide range of health problems. Here are a few examples. Air pollution that worsens asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and contributes to cardiovascular disease. Changes in vector ecology, which refers to insects like mosquitoes and ticks, that can spread diseases including dengue fever, malaria, Zika virus, and others. Bacterial and fungal infections are also increasing with changing environmental conditions. The increasing length and intensity of the pollen season is leading to more allergies and asthma exacerbations. And there are many water-related impacts, ranging from safety of the drinking water supply to microbial contamination to impacts on agriculture and our food supply. Globally, we're already seeing impacts of climate migration, with refugees from inhospitable environmental conditions related to both natural disasters and local damage to agriculture and economic impacts. Extreme weather events are one of the more frequent impacts of climate change that we experience. These include events like flooding, hurricanes, and heat waves that have serious impacts on our built environment, our homes and community buildings, on our critical infrastructure like electricity, clean water and transportation systems, and on our physical and mental health and emotional well-being. Extreme heat can cause dangerous health effects, including dehydration, heat stroke, and exhaustion, and can make many health conditions worse, such as heart, lung, and kidney disease. Extreme heat, increasingly powerful storms and floods, year-round wildfires, droughts, and other climate-related events have already caused thousands of deaths and displaced hundreds of thousands of people in the US from their homes, with significant personal loss and mental health impacts. The cascading impacts of climate change are critically important and often overlooked. Climate change affects the natural, built, and social systems we rely on individually and through their connections to one another. These interconnected systems are increasingly vulnerable to the cascading impacts that are often difficult to predict. Extreme weather and climate-related impacts on one system can result in increased risks or failures in other critical systems, including water resources, food production and distribution, energy and transportation, public health and healthcare systems, international trade, and national security. For all these reasons, I'm grateful to each of you for your choice to attend this conference during your precious summer break. And I encourage you to continue your engagement with global health and to address climate change as an urgent priority. More so than any other generation in human history, the future course and health of the planet is in your hands. I hope you have a productive and enjoyable meeting, and I wish you success in your work.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Duchin. This is a very inspiring message for young people, and just such a very important and relevant topic today. But it was also so empowering for young people to know that the county's doing so much and there's so many opportunities for them to be engaged as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Mayor, for giving me the opportunity. And I hope you have a wonderful conference. And I look forward to hearing about how it goes and whatever else you decide to get involved in over this summer.